Hi there. My discourse today is on the spiritual attribute of unconditional love. Well, you've probably all heard about it. Whether you fully understand it or not, it's hard to tell. And I'm not being judgmental here. It's just that it is very, very important that you do understand exactly what unconditional love is. I think we all know what love is, don't we? We feel love for our children, for our partners, husbands, wives, partners, our pets. We also love our hobbies. We love our country. We love food. Our friends. And we probably love some things more than other things, because all those loves are conditional. I love apple pie. I just love apple pie. I love apple pie more than fruit mince pie. So there's conditions, because I love apples and I love the taste more. It tastes better to me, so that's a condition. That's why I love it more. But the other one's okay, so I do love it too, but not as much. It's probably a bit of a silly example, but it's the only one that popped into my head. So conditions. We love our friends, but why are they our friends? We've become friends with people because we find we have things in common. We might not have, we might have certain disagreements at times. We might not agree on everything. But if we disagree on so much stuff, well, they're not going to be a friend, are they? But if we agree on a lot of things and we have a lot of the same interests, then, yeah, we love them as friends. But we might have some friends that we love more than others because for some reason we're closer to them. We've spent more time with them, we've known them longer, or we're just more in tune with them. These are all conditions. There's nothing wrong with these conditions either, by the way. They're not the kind of conditions, that we shouldn't have. It's just that they are conditions. And even, okay, we love our children, and a mother loves her children. They say that's unconditional love. Well, is it really though? Okay? Isn't the fact that the child is your child a condition? Do you love that child more than somebody else's child? Usually, even though you can love somebody else's child. But when it comes down to it, yours is the one you usually love the most. And that's not necessarily because it's your biological child. I believe that parents can love adopted children just as much as biological children. And if they have biological children as well as adopted children, I still believe they can love them all equally. But often parents have favourites, don't they? Even if they try very hard not to show it because they don't want to play favourites. But just sometimes one child's personality just gels with you more than another child. That other child might be continually frustrating you. Could be that you're so alike. And so, yeah, you know what I mean? So whether you like it or not, you may actually prefer one to the other, one over the other a little bit. And if you really look at it, that would be you love that one a little bit more than the other because it's conditional, okay? So it's still conditional. But that love between a parent and a child is a good one to use though, because it's pretty close to unconditional love, because you can have a child that ends up, just being horrible, criminal, just causing people harm and all of that, and yet the parent can still love them. Okay, so it gives you a bit of an idea of unconditional love to a point. I suppose what I'm really getting at is unconditional love isn't like all the other loves. All the other loves derive from it, if for want of a better word, but it has absolutely no conditions. So that when you feel unconditional love for a total stranger, and you feel unconditional love for your child or your best friend or your partner, there is no difference. You're still feeling the love that you have for your partner, romantic love or whatever that's the love for your children, like familiar love, friendship love. You're still feeling all of that love. That's still there, okay? Unconditional love doesn't replace it. It's still there. But then you find that a total stranger that you may not even particularly like, but there's an instant of feeling love for this person. It's like a soul connection in a way. And as I said, you don't have to like the person, but the love you feel is unconditional. Because that unconditional love is part of the fabric of the universe. It's part of creation. There's unconditional love, there's light, and there's life. As one way to express it. If there were no unconditional love, there would be no existence. Or no universe. No. If there were no light, there would be no intelligence. No knowledge, no intelligence, no comprehension that there is a universe, that there is an existence. And life is what makes humans and other animals, because we are an animal, but we're at the top of the animal chain as with evolution. But the life of humans and animals, that life is the same and yet different to the life of plants and insects and even matter. Because it's meant to be different. Otherwise, there would be no differentiation. It would be just existence. So there would be love, unjudging, pure, total, and light. Knowing. But knowing what? And how can we really appreciate unconditional love if we have not experienced all of the other loves that come with life? Life in the physical universe. That's the life I'm speaking of here. Life in the physical universe, where we are having an experience. I'm not talking about the life of our soul Okay, that gets a bit complex, and I don't know that I'm the person who can bring that through intelligently or intelligibly. So, in order to gain the spiritual attribute of unconditional love, you continue your spiritual path. You certainly, compassion helps, developing compassion and that balance between compassion and dispassion. Focusing on all of the other loves that are reflections, pale reflection, well, some are paler than others, reflections of unconditional love. Perhaps we could call unconditional love cosmic love. But we do need to understand this thing about conditions. And there's another reason why we need to understand this thing about conditions too, and this is a good place to put it. As human beings, we place conditions on a lot of things. I'm not good enough unless I weigh less than a certain amount. You've placed a condition on your worth based on your weight. It's a very common one for us in the modern world. There are other cultures, though, and particularly in the past, that valued chubbier people because it was a sign they were well fed, so they were wealthy or something like that. But I'm just looking at, think of all the conditions. Oh, I'd really love to be a gardener. I'd love to, that's what I'd love to do for my work. Just out there, looking after people's gardens. I love that. But it doesn't pay enough. So that's not good enough. I can't do that for a career. I've got to find something that pays me a lot more. So you've put a condition on the career. Now, sometimes it's good to put conditions on. Okay? It's because you're working towards something. You don't want to set the bar too low. Conditions are important sometimes. Like we do need conditions / limitations sometimes. Okay, they have their role. But it's like everything. As human beings, we tend to go too far one way or another. No conditions at all, no limits, and everything's in chaos. Or too many conditions and we've boxed ourselves in. Okay? And that's what can happen with love, you see. We can put too many conditions on love, who we will love. And maybe we don't include ourselves. I can't love me. Look at me. I look like this, or I'm not good at maths, or I haven't made a lot of money. I don't own my own house. I'm not good enough. I can't love me, but I can love all these other people. So, yeah, sometimes the conditions that we place on ourselves hold us back from being content, from finding times of happiness, and on that journey towards peace, serenity, inner peace, all those conditions. So, what I would ask you to do with this spiritual attribute of unconditional love is to love to the best of your ability, but also love yourself. Don't forget yourself. Look at the conditions you've placed on yourself and areas of your life and relationships, and are they working in your favour or are they holding you back? Have you got areas where you have no limitations, no conditions, and that is holding you back or preventing you from moving forward? You owe it to yourself to really have a really good look at all of this. Put in some conditions/limitations where they're actually needed. You might need to get rid of them later. It's a little bit like, sometimes when babies are learning to walk, parents give them a walker, so it helps them. But once they can walk on their own, well, it's not going to do them any good to keep using the walker, is it? It's like training wheels on a bike as well. Once you can ride the bike, you don't need the training wheels. So you might need to put some conditions/limitations on yourself for a while, and then come to recognise when they're holding you back, when you've got to get rid of them. Okay? So focus on experiencing love in your life in every way, shape or form that it presents to you. Strive towards being able to truly connect. I think it's more connecting than an expressing when you're in a body, I think. Connecting with the unconditional love. Certainly our guides who do not incarnate anymore can feel unconditional love, and they do give it to us. We're heading for that. And look, if you can achieve it while in a physical body, that's wonderful. So don't stop trying, because that's what we have to do. That is what we want to do. But it is the ultimate goal to be able to achieve that. But certainly by working towards being able to connect with it, that is how you then are able to express it, let it flow through you. But you have to be able to connect with it. I think I might have given you some things to think about, take into meditation and contemplation. I hope so. Thank you very much for listening to me.